Hi, I'm Janet Trevino, and I've been doing cuddle work for 8.5 years. And I think it's time, after all these years, that I be really clear about who I am, what I do, how I work, what my values are. I have a mic now to help with sound. I know it's one of the things about my videos. Sometimes the sound isn't so great. So I'm trying to be as clear and heartfelt to communicate a lot about the things that I do, how I function, how I work. So this is going to be a long video, so hold tight. And you can just listen and just get to know me a bit more. I really am committed to integrity, respect, and a deep connection that we can have as humans. I mean, really, the goal is how deep of a connection can we have with each other, even through our differences and our hurt, our wounds, our needs. Um, And so I try to make spaces where that is possible to as much as both of us are willing to explore that. So get a nice warm beverage, sit back and enjoy as I go through all the things about me. I hope you enjoy it. So the first thing are just like some really basic core values about how I work. And if you are into Dungeons and Dragons, or you would be willing to Google the 9 alignments, just out of the gate, what's really important to me is that I am chaotic good. I've had some run ins with other practitioners who are highly offended, um, who have come at me with very direct kind of language around, like, you're causing harm, or like there's this, the possibility of like really bad things happening. But at the end of the day, when it really comes down to it, if the system or rules or whatever it is in the way of us creating more connection, creating, like, really going deeper, looking at like being more authentic, I will always seek what is in the best interest of the person I'm seeing and myself, and like what we're trying to create together. So yes, it is true. The reason why I'm not as loud and as out as I could be is because I do maintain this more chaotic good stance, and I have no interest in drawing unwanted attention from people who would be like, oh, but you're not following the code of conduct. Which, by the way, I have created my own code of conduct that I'll be sharing probably after this video. So we'll see how that comes out. But I really want people to understand that at the end of the day, what's most important to me is that we go deeper in our human connection and that we're being authentic. And what that looks like is up to the people that are in the space. So that's just like already like, wow. Um, yes. So next one, I think is really important. It kind of goes along with that, is that I am client centered and it is relationship based. So every session that I create, my intention with all of them is to be collaborative and to build our sessions on trust and mutual respect. So what is in the best interests of the person that I'm serving? That is what I look for. That's what's most important to me. And again, I throw out any kind of like, well, industry or society or like all that stuff doesn't matter. It is what is happening in that space that is of my, it's my heart. So there's that. And because I am very much centering the client and the people that choose to come see me, I do value being compensated and honored for my time and my expertise. This is my job. I will say that again. This is my job. This is my work. I bring skill and care and intention to it. And I do expect to be, again, honored and seen with respect and compensated for my time. This gets really tricky because I build relationships, right? And it is very genuine and it is very real. And I love that about myself, that I can drop in like that. And it can suddenly feel like, well, why am I paying for this? Because at the end of the day, I am still in service to you. You are still my priority. I'm still considering what you need. And it's funny. People think that because I am really into whatever it is that we're doing, they think that this is what I would want or this is what I need. It's often not. And so if someone were to ask me like, well, what is it that you would would want right now. It's something probably very wildly different. But because I have this ability of really making a connection and serving, it can feel like this is also really authentic and what I would want to. So just understanding that there's that service dimension that's happening and that I am being genuine and authentic in serving. And that's my heart. That's what I deserve. I mean, that's what I desire. So the next thing that's also really important to kind of balance some of this out is that while this is my intention for a lot of the sessions, not all of them, but a lot of them is therapeutic or with an idea of growth, like it's growth oriented, like we're going somewhere. Now, I am not a licensed counselor. I'm not licensed by the state. The state does not regulate professional cuddling or any other type of sessions that I do. And so there's no like official overseer looking out for that. But it doesn't mean that I don't work with like a therapeutic mindset, which is really important to me. What that means is that I am looking for growth, for personal growth, for inner awareness, for like inner movement, like just people to really connect with themselves inside, like learn more about themselves, become more aware, and have like growth, however that looks. And sometimes it's often in the uncomfortable, right? So you might be like, man, I was really awkward or uncomfortable. I really had a hard time. That's also growth because you're allowing yourself to be in a space that might not, as long as you're consenting, always, always, like you're like, oh, this is really hard. And I still consent. I want to work on this. But there's so much possible in that. So, yeah. And also we don't have to, like, you don't have to work, right? So some of the sessions, some of the cuddle sessions are just about being. Like nothing has to happen. They don't need to take on that therapeutic lens as much. So that is also a possibility. But for the most part, I I want people to really grow as in who they are. So there's that. And then the kind of the spirit or like the energy of all of it is that there's a lot of optimism. I I really believe that we can create a positive space, and this is supportive. And also that I use my intuition to lead the session. If I am leading the session, if it's more me kind of guiding it, then I really trust my instincts. I see the potential for healing in all the things that we do, all of our interactions. And that also means like even the hard ones, the ones that like maybe there's miscommunication or something happens that's unwanted or whatever it is, there it's an opportunity for us to heal, to communicate, to learn, to connect even deeper. Those are our harder sessions. Yeah. Sometimes people just don't come back, and that's okay too. Because it's hard dealing with that. And this next word is often used in drug rehab type of spaces, but being about harm reduction. And what that means is that I meet people where they're at without judgment, working within like their reality, their realistic um, life, and try to be supportive in where they're at. So, who would that include? That would be like married people who come see me. That is a harm reduction space because they need to make the decision around, am I willing to go see Janet and meet these needs that I don't know how to access or meet with my spouse, or like it's not possible because of, again, illness or life stuff. And it would often be seen like frowned upon to come see me. So it's, very hush hush. But if this allows you to continue living your best life, like the best that you can muster at that time, then yes, I support, even seeing married people, because I hold that the belief that you do the best that you can. Yeah. And with that as well, recognizing the humanity in all of us. Every person has dignity and worth, and regardless of their background or their identity or their life experience, everyone is worth being seen, being heard. Their worth matters. So the work that I do, and I think this, if there was like a big picture, this would be probably it, is that I seek human connection, human interactions. And that means it's messy and silly and weird and um, awkward and beautiful and alive, surprising, wondrous. I mean, there's so many things because humans, we have so much happening going on, so much stuff, and that shows up. And I think that's important that whatever the mess is, that it be seen and be acknowledged. So that's really important. And lastly, this is more practical, talking about humanity. We are all limited human beings, and I can't do it all. So recognizing that I need to respect, I ask you to respect my time and my energy. If you've ever texted me, you know it takes me a while to communicate. So I move at my own pace. I am pretty slow sometimes with my communication. Emails are so slow. So I'm not quick with texting or like phone use. But what is really important is I do make a lot of time for my self care. It makes me be able to be who I am and to be present with you. And yeah, communication happens best in session, video or in person. Okay, so that's kind of like the core stuff. Like if you only heard that and walked away at this point and said, "Hey, I can't watch the video anymore, I gotta go," get pretty much the gist. Now we're just going to kind of go a little bit deeper in a few things, some important topics. And in case you're like, well, which one are those, so that I know to stay or leave? My inclusivity, my trauma informed stuff, and privacy, and just some my own personal self care and boundary stuff. So those are the next topics coming. And you can just bow out for a little bit, come back when you have time to finish the rest of the video. So this is a very popular topic right now, DEI.